1/3 of borrowers are heading for financial stress. Let's have a look. Hello everyone, Florian.Heise here, and I hope you're all having a good day. I want to have a look at this article from Australian Broker, which is discussing 1 in 3 home loan borrowers are headed for financial stress, at least according to their study. Now, let me just bring up a definition here. Now, this is the definition of housing stress. It typically describes lower income households are spending more than 30% of their gross income on housing costs. Lower income, so not median, not higher, only the lower, which is interesting because we hear a lot of these people who are in mortgage stress, where how many of you honestly could handle paying 30% of your income into your mortgage, into your house? It's not something everyone wants to do. You want to have income that's much higher, but I'm sure, I don't know, I get the feeling this definition may be a bit outdated because, well, we've got a generation that's struggled so hard to get into housing. So let's have a look at this. 1 in 3 Australians paying off a mortgage are headed for financial stress, with interest rates rising, according to a new survey. Financial comparison site CanStar found 14% of respondents were already facing financial hardship, even without any change to interest rates, while another 19% would be pushed beyond their means if $100 is added to their mortgage repayments per week. So $100, let's bring up the Excel chart here. We'll bring that up. And, okay, what happened here? Let me move that around. There we go. So all we have here is, this is the last interest rate rise we looked at. Now, this was an increase from 4.29 to 4.59. This is what was it? Westpac, or one of the big 4 banks. Now, that's an increase of $103 a month. So let's say you've got 4.59% is your mortgage at $580,000. That's the average mortgage. How much do we need to increase the rates to see that extra $100 a week? So $400 a month. So let's say if we go 5.59, a 1% increase, and they're almost there, $356. That's an 11% increase in your repayments, or pretty much 12%. So let's bring it up again. Let's go 6%. So there we go. That's 500. That's a little bit more. We'll do 5.8. Come on, 5.75. Okay, so we're looking at pretty much about a 1.1%, 1.15% increase. So 1.6%, you're 414 extra a month, which is what they're talking about here. And you've got to remember, all of these increases, they're just from the banks increasing their fixed rates. Variables still haven't budged yet, and we'll have to see if the RBA does indeed increase their rates. Now, looking at this, you've got to remember, I mean, we're at 4.59 now. Say you're like me, you locked in at 1.99%. You've got 580 grand in the mortgage. My mortgage is less than that, fortunately. And you go up to 4.59. That's an $828 increase. Now, that's not going to happen. What you'll do is you'll go to variable at 3%, or you'll go interest only if you get really in trouble. But, I mean, this is what could happen now. If for some reason you went from fixed to fixed, your repayments have gone up 38%, nearly 40%. So that, for some people, that could be a big hit. And if you get these mortgages, if people are borrowing like 800 grand, yeah, well, you're talking huge jumps in mortgage repayments. Well, no, same percentage, but proportionally huge. But then again, their income should be that much higher. And remember, the stress, the 30% stress is only, by definition, from the ABS, only on lower income households. And I'll bring up this other chart here, guys, just to show you the difference in household incomes. You've got the top. I mean, this little chart here should just show you how big the class divide is in Australia. It exists. It's there. It's huge. You're going from people with thousands of dollars to hundreds of dollars. That's Australia, okay? That's the lucky country. We're just as divided as every other part of the world. So let's look at this. CanStar's analysis showed that that a 1.65 percentage point climb in interest rates would result in an extra $108 a month to monthly repayments on a $500,000 30-year loan. Well, $500,000 isn't the median, but anyway. And the same rate rise on a $1 million mortgage would add an additional burden of $217 per week. Well, if you're on borrowing $1 million, you should be able to service that much. Remember, the banks, in their assessment of the people they're lending money to, have allowed a 3% buffer. Now, the question is, people will be going in the comments, but Florian, everyone lied, all the mortgage brokers lied. I'm sure there are some that did, and they may get in trouble, or maybe not. People have buffers too, so we'll have to see. I think we're going to see definitely some people cop it, but it isn't going to be as dramatic as some people are hoping. Because you've got people there who are on the edge of their seats who are just hoping for a huge crash. And to be honest, I'm just so cynical with it now. We've seen our government more than willing to throw future generations under the table to keep the merry-go-round going, to kick the can down the road further. And people will continue to vote for it. This next election is going to be really interesting. I want to see what Labor comes up with compared to the coalition budget and where people vote. Because as much as I would love to encourage people to vote for minors and to get some minor parties in the House of Representatives, I suspect we may see what happened in South Australia play out at a federal level. I think people just don't like ScoMo. So, Steve Mickenbacker, CanStar Group's Executive Financial Services, said such rate rises equivalent to Westpac's forecast would push more than 30% of home loan borrowers into financial stress. He also urged borrowers to look for better deals on their home loans. Increasing home loan repayments by more than $200 a week puts the price increases at the supermarket and petrol browser into the shade, and demand that, if they can, borrowers should be looking for a lower rate now before higher interest rates take that opportunity away, he told the Herald. Yeah, well, today I went to Aldi. Well, no, actually, I went to Bunnings to buy some paint and some patch-up stuff. And I went to Aldi on the way back home, to get some snags for the kids. And Rachel's doing the end of the month, or the new month shop tomorrow. So we try and shop monthly, do big shops. So I did a little top-up shop. Those ones you do, we need a few little things here. I spent $95, guys. Sure, the biggest cost was the salmon pieces, because we'll eat salmon on Friday. Beautiful dish Rachel makes. All it is just a whole lot of cream, salmon pieces that you get from Aldi, just roasted for 40 minutes. That's it. Best bloody dish ever. I don't even know if she adds salt to it. Anyway, $100. So everything's getting more expensive. Mickenbacker said Australians should expect about 6 to 8 mortgage rate rises in the next 18 months to 2 years. Given what has happened historically, this, he said, could hit both those on smaller loan amounts and those who've had to borrow much more as property prices skyrocketed during the pandemic. There'll have to be a number of people who will look at their finances and see it's beyond retrieval, Mickenbacker told the Herald. They'll have to sell up. Across Australia, house prices skyrocketed by 25.2% in 2021, while the median house price for all capitals soared to $1,066,000, Domain said. Now, will they sell up? Will they? Think about that. How many times have we been hearing that? How many times have we seen predictions of people going to the wall and selling up? Remember when all of a sudden these mortgages that were going to go interest only, those 5-year periods were all going to disappear? Did we see a flood of people sell up? No, we didn't. Property, it's not the same as crypto, it's not the same as shares. Particularly if you're living in it, you will fight to keep it. You'll do everything you can to keep it. And we've seen the banks and the government will do everything they can to keep you in your home in many regards. Look at the mortgage holidays. I joke about Mortgage Keeper. Maybe it's not a joke. The average mortgage also rose sharply, with the ABS data showing borrowers in New South Wales, Victoria, Queensland, and the ACT were taking mortgages out above $500,000 on average in January. With property prices moving up by as much as they have over the past couple of years, $1 million loans are anything but rare. They are almost the norm for more recent buyers, he told the Sydney Morning Herald. Now that's terrifying to me. But if you have got two partners, relationship where you're both earning six figures, you should be able to support that. What'll happen is we'll start to see the impact on retail spending and probably private school education, all the luxurious things that people have. Shane Oliver, AMP Capital Chief Economist, said that while some people would be feeling the pinch with interest rates when interest rates rose, the majority would have been tested to ensure they were able to repay loans with higher rates. It's almost certain people will find their budget getting stretched and some will go into financial stress, he told the Sydney Morning Herald. In theory, though, people who borrow recently should have been tested to repay with 2.5 or 3%. It's unlikely interest rates will go much higher will go up by that much. Now, there's the thing. There's the point that he's made. And if we have a look here at just some of the recent numbers, people have made prepayments on their mortgages. You've got liquidity. So with these buffers, you'd hope people would have a bit of capacity. Remember, they don't need to repay their mortgage. They just need to ride out till the next batch of government intervention. So let's have a talk about this one, everyone. Now, there are going to be some people that feel the pinch. There are going to be some people that will have to probably budget for the first time in their lives, that are going to do it a bit tough. There'll be some people that will be forced to sell. But remember, we've had our first recession in 28 years, and I don't think any of the banks foreclosed because of it on anyone. They did everything they could to kick the can down the road, guys. How do we know that won't happen again? There might be an expectation of it. And now we have the governments even stepping in and buying parts of people's houses. I could probably see that happening beforehand. You're in trouble, mortgage keeper will be the government, will buy a chunk of your house. Wouldn't that be a nightmare? These are not things I'm hoping for, don't get me wrong. I'm just terrified that it could head that way. We need to advocate. There needs to be a cultural shift to Australia about more personal resilience and responsibility, so the government isn't the one everyone always goes to for help. But do you think that's even possible? Let me know your thoughts on this one, guys. Thanks for watching. Like, share, subscribe to the channel. If you're a fan and enjoy the content I create here, there are a few ways you can help out. You can join us on YouTube or Patreon, sign up for SelfWealth or Stake, or use any of our affiliate links. Take care, guys. Have a great day, and I will see you all in the next episode of HeiseSays. Thanks, everyone. $1 million mortgage. Must be a bloody... Yeah, but most of the houses are shit boxes. It doesn't make sense to me.